And so the Sox, who come into the game today at 7-12, take on the Diamondbacks, who enter the game today at 8-11. So you take a look at Alan Trammell along with Robin Ventura as they talk over the ground rules at this gorgeous ballpark. There's Gavin Floyd, tonight's starting pitcher. He's ready to go, along with Don Cooper. The pitching the last time through the rotation has actually been pretty good. Chris Sale had 6 terrific innings. John Danks, 6 strong innings. Jake Peavy, 6 wonderful innings. And so Gavin Floyd, who's throwing the ball real well at this point, is helping to round out a rotation that's trying to get a little more solid. Last year's manager of the year in the National League, Kurt Gibson, took a team that no one thought was going to do anything and won the division. They're not going to be able to sneak up on anybody this year, but when you take a look at what he accomplished last year, you realize that he did it with a lot of hustle. His team plays hard, and they epitomize what Gibson was as a player. By the way, I did give up his first Major League home run, but what's new? Frank Robinson is here, enjoying the game tonight. And this is one of the few night games I can remember actually broadcasting out of spring training, and it's absolutely gorgeous. We couldn't have picked a better day. Temperature's still up there pretty well. A great night to pitch. And the Sox are starting to play a little bit better baseball. They got off to a tough start this year. They weren't hitting the ball real well, and that's changed. They're scoring a lot of runs. So let's take a look at our BMO Harris starting lineup for the Diamondbacks. Gerardo Parra will start in left field. Aaron Hills at second base. Justin Upton, who's absolutely a star, in right field. Miguel Montero will catch. Chris Young, former White Sox center fielder. Jeff Blum at third base. Paul Goldschmidt, who came up late in the year and made his mark on this team at first. Lyle Overbay is the designated hitter, and John McDonald will start at shortstop. Let's take a look at the Sox defense and how they'll line up behind Gavin Floyd. Left to right, it's Gallagher, Diaza, and Rios. In the infield, Lillibridge, who's having a terrific spring. Escobar's having a great spring, along with Beckham and Konerko. A.J. Pierzynski gets a nod behind the plate, and Gavin Floyd on the hill tonight. Probably looking if he can keep the pitch count down to go 6 innings. There you look at his one start. That's one start in an A game. He has pitched some B games. He went 4 innings, threw the ball very well. No walks, which in spring training is something you're looking for. And as we move along in this, the 20th game of spring training, realizing that we're about 2 weeks away from making it official and starting this 2012 season. These guys are just about ready to go. The pitchers might need one more start, and that's about it. The hitters would have liked to seen this end, about a week ago, because they are ready to go. And we're ready to go, and I'll turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball from Glendale, Arizona. As I mentioned, the first of 5 games coming your way for the rest of spring training right here over Comcast Sportsnet. So here is Gerardo Parra, 24-year-old left fielder. Comes in on the spring hitting at .333. D-backs 8-11 for the spring. Sox are now 7-12 for that loss today to the Dodgers. Oh, and 1 the count. Outfield straight up. Diaza short and center. Threw that one right by him upstairs. And here at beautiful Camelback Ranch, 345 down the lines, 380 in the gaps, and 410 straight away center.
Parra was their starting left fielder last year, and now Jason Kubel, signed as a free agent, will start.
Parra hit .292, 8 homers, and knocked in 46 last year with 20 doubles and 8 triples.
Plus, he's a Gold Glove caliber outfielder who's got a rocket for an arm.
Yes, he did. Good hook right there. He gone. 1 out.
Gavin throws that one down and in. Parra cannot check his swing. Hal Gibson, the home plate umpire, says, yes, indeed, son. You went around far enough, especially in spring training.
Yep.
It's 81 degrees at game time. Gives you an idea what it was today here.
That pitch low and away to Aaron Hill, former Toronto Blue Jay. In 33 games last year with the D-backs, he had .315, a couple of homers, and knocked in 16. But he has battled injuries for the last 2 seasons. He's a good player. Chops that one foul.
Well, knowing they're going to get a full season out of him, or at least hoping that they're going to get a full season out of him, they think that he can be a huge factor at second base. In his Toronto days, he was a thorn in the side of the Sox many a time.
That one just off the corner.
Umpires tonight: Hal Gibson, Mike Everett at first, Brian Knight at second, and Tyler Funneman at third.
Checks it up. And the count 3-1. Well, if you look at the players who are gone from last season off the D-backs, where they won 94 games and won that division by 8. There's a solid smash and knuckleball. Piazza stayed right with it. That ball was absolutely kowtowed.
Well, from our angle here, it looked like it was going to the left of Piazza. And because it was hit so hard, it just knuckled out there and actually wound up going to his right. You can see it come back. And when you hit a ball right on the nose, that's what'll happen sometimes.
So here is their young 24-year-old right fielder, Justin Upton. 31 homers and 88 knocked in last season. Takes ball 1, but gone from last year: Sean Burrows, Colin Cowgill, Zach Duke, Melvin Mora, Xavier Nadi, and Micah Owens. They made some pretty good pickups.
I think Kevin Towers is a very good GM. They got fortunate to get him after he was let go at San Diego, and he did a good job of restocking a very good ball club.
The pickups is a guy we're glad to see go to the National League, Craig Breslow, left-handed reliever who just absolutely stymies our guys.
How about Jason Kubel?
Kubel just wore us out. Trevor Cahill, we got him pretty well, but he's a good pitcher. And Takashi Saito. Those are the new additions. Big hack, no contact.
They got Upton as the #1 pick in the draft, and he was a shortstop. And he expected to stay there. Good cutter by Gavin Floyd. Mike Rizzo, who was the scouting director at the time, took him on a road trip to Tucson to take a look at a young man by the name of Stephen Drew. And he said, "You will be playing the outfield. Stephen Drew will be our shortstop. And you're going to have to adjust to it." And of course, Upton has become a star, now a right fielder. And Drew is injured, but he's an everyday starting player when healthy.
That's low. Gavin's thrown a lot of pitches to Hill and Upton here in the first inning. Of them already. There goes the run. Big hack. Good short swing right there by Upton. Fortunately for Gavin, underneath it.
They don't have a whole lot of speed on this Diamondback team, but they will run under Kirk Gibson. Hitters make a living on that 3-1 pitch. Fortunately, Gavin made a good pitch out away from Upton.
You saw Alan Trammell, bench coach, former teammates with the Tigers with Gibson. That curveball, a high chopper. Nice play by Escobar. Sets guns and in time. Eduardo Escobar is a good little player.
Well, he's opened a lot of eyes this spring, and he's making a big effort at making his ball club. He's got a strong arm. Sets himself, gets it over there, a step in time.
Robert and I were talking about, he's got a lot of Orlando Cabrera in him, and also a lot of Ozzie in him at shortstop.
Well, that's a pretty good combination when you consider that Cabrera once hit 4th for the Expos, and Ozzie played 100 years, or close to it.
Yeah. Escobar is a good competitor, as was Cabrera. Everywhere Orlando went, they won. Here's Montero. Miguel Montero hit .282 last year, 18 homers, and picked up 86 ribbies. Checks it up, fouls it off. So the count 0-2. No score. Top of the first if you're just tuning in. Gap out there in right center. And of course a lot of talk about teams wanting to trade for Gavin Floyd, and why not? He's a good one. Gavin last year 12-13. 58-55 in his career as Coop. Doesn't want to lose him. And Gavin, of course, best season 17-8 in 08. Lays off that high one.
A good 0-2 pitch, especially to the left-hand hitters. You show them a fastball up there, then you can use that breaking ball down and in. Montero came alive last year. They always knew that he could swing the bat, but he got an opportunity to play in 140 games, which is a lot for a #1 catcher.
That 0-2 pitch was a pitch that you used quite effectively.
Yeah, you
fastball up just out of the zone.
Throw a high fastball, get a guy looking, and even though it's not an overwhelming fastball, it looks hittable, and it's really not. Called higher than high.
The 2-2. Lays off that hook. And the new skipper. He's been a busy guy today. He's been a busy guy every day. Getting out here at 5:30, leaving around 5. And this morning had to go down to Tucson, and now here he is back in another dugout.
Not only had to go to Tucson, but watch his ball club give up 17 runs. That's never pleasant.
Gavin wanted it, didn't get it.
Center fielder in that fifth, number 24, Chris Young.
So 2 on, 2 out. And here's the center fielder, former Sox farmman, Chris Young. Having a big spring. 438, a couple of homers, and 4 knocked in. Last year, hit .236 with 20 long ones and knocked in 71.
He won't hit a curveball. If you can get ahead, you can throw a curve, you can throw a slider. But if you get in a position where you have to throw a fastball, that's where he makes a living.
Fastball hitters love to see that first ball breaking ball miss.
Eventually you're going to have to come back to him.
There's a breaking ball strike. Well, that's a lot of the dialogue in the dugout during a game between hitters. Might be talking with a good friend of yours sitting next to you, and you just say, you know, if he misses with that first ball breaking ball, that first ball curveball, he comes with that fastball, I'm going to take it right out of here.
Especially nowadays when they have a vast library of video to see the tendencies of certain pitchers.
There's a shot off the glove, deflected right over to Gordon, who will step on the bag and retire the side. So they threaten, can't score after half inning of play. It's the D-backs, nothing in the good guys coming to bat.
our BMO Harris starting Sox lineup. Alejandro Diaz leading off. Then it's Brent Lillibridge, Alex Rios, Paul Konerko at first base hitting cleanup. A.J. Pierzynski in the 5 spot with Gordon Beckham, Dan Johnson, Jim Gallagher, and Eduardo Escobar rounding out the lineup. Let's take a look at the defense. And out in the lineup behind Joe Saunders, it's Parra, Young, and Upton left to right. Blum, McDonald, Hill, and Goldschmidt in the infield with Montero behind the plate. And Joe Saunders, you might remember him from the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. There's a look at the starts this spring. He's getting tattooed, but veteran pitchers don't really care much about what happens in the springtime.
Well, he's a 30-year-old southpaw out of Chandler, Arizona. As here is Diaz, Alejandro, hitting at 278 on the spring. But last year, when he was called up from Charlotte, where he was hitting at 328, he had 329 for us with 4 homers, 23 RBIs, 11 doubles, 3 triples, and 12 stolen bases. That's the reason he's in center field now.
He's got a chance to put together a pretty good year. Had a couple of shots at it before, didn't stick with a couple different ball clubs, but he seems to have found a home here. And he's going to be doing a lot of bunting this year. He wants to pull in the corners. Blum is in close at third.
Saunders, 12-13 last season with a 3.69 ERA. In his career, he is 17 games over at 69-52. His best season also came in 08 when he was 17-7. Rolls over on that one, and that's out number 1.
Well, Saunders had 2 very good years in a row. 17-7, and next year 16-7, both for LA. And he was a free agent after the season. They decided, after maybe shopping around a bit, the Diamondbacks wanted him back, and so they did sign him out of free agency, despite the fact that they got Trevor Cahill. So their starting rotation now looks pretty tough.
Here's Lillibridge. Takes first pitch strike, Brent. Hitting at 333 on the spring. Our all-purpose player. Established himself last season as a major league player. Hit 258, limited duty, 13 homers, 29 RBIs, 10 stolen bases, and some spectacular catches in the outfield. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. Good short, quick swing. And let's check out our picks to click. First one of the season here on Comcast. Jim Angio, our director, and the crew, and they went with Dan Johnson. Stone Pony's going to go with A.J. Pierzynski. And Jim and Kathy Candatero, we're going to go with Alex Rios. Alex is Jimmy Olsen's favorite player. Got him upstairs. When Saunders is right, he will do what Steve was talking about earlier on that 0-2 fastball.
And he'll do it with a fastball that's less than overpowering. It's more deception than anything else. He throws this one just above the logo. Throws it by Brent.
So here is Alex. Hitting at 257, no homers, 5 RBIs on the spring. As we were talking earlier yesterday, I saw he and Jeff Meto working in the cage, and they had this unusual drill. And after it was over, I told Alex, I said, since you've had a White Sox uniform on, that's the best you have swung the bat. He was short and quick. Because of that drill, you had to be.
I don't believe I've ever seen anything the way you described it.
First time I've ever seen it
before.
In all my 50-something years in this game. What happened was Manto was giving him flips. He was about 4 feet in front of him, off to the side, of course, behind the screen. And he took 5 baseballs. And he told him, he said, "Are you ready?" As that's into right center field. And that's caught. And we'll tell you the rest of that when we come back in a second. No score after 1. at US Cellular Field right now on sale. Tickets start at just $7 per seat. The 2012 schedule is full of great matchups, promotional nights, and games featuring post-game fireworks. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Former Sox infielder, utility guy Jeff Blum will be the hitter, switch hitter. He's 39 years old now. Last year he had 266, 4 homers, and drove in 26 for the D-backs. And of course, we'll always remember the big home run he had in 05.
Well, it does show you if you're left-handed and you can hit off the bench, you can spend a lot of time in this game.
Well, the old cliche of baseball, and it's so true, is baseball is and always will be a left-handed game.
Well, speaking of elderly left-handers, Jamie Moyer has been throwing unbelievably well for the Colorado Rockies.
Good for him.
Had 4 hitless innings, I think yesterday. And right now, he's not giving up anything. He might just make that ball club.
I hope he does. What is he, 49 now?
I think he's got to be 48, 49 years old.
Yeah. Outfield straight up, about equidistant. Maybe a small gap in right center for Blum. Checks it up.
Gavin would like to start having a few of these Diamondback hitters hitting his first or second pitch, because he's throwing too many pitches to be going 6 innings unless he starts shortening up these at bats.
The first baseman batting 7th, number 44, Paul Goldschmidt.
So the dreaded leadoff walk, and that'll bring up Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt, 24-year-old first baseman, last year when he was called up. Hit 250, 8 homers, and drove in 26.
They had some problems at first base. A couple of years ago, this was one of the most prolific strikeout teams in all of baseball. And when Kevin Towers got over there, he realized that he had to change that, eventually moving to Goldschmidt late in the season, and he showed enough to be considered the incumbent at first base. This is a strong young man who's got a chance to be a pretty good player.
Well, Gavin's threw 24 pitches in the first inning, and he's off to a bad start here with that leadoff walk to Blum. And here's a 1-0 to Goldschmidt. And as usual in spring training, there are a lot of scouts in attendance. Talking to a couple of them before the game.
Matt Williams goes through his set of signs.
Big hack on the breaking ball. And for the most part, the majority of these scouts looking at Gavin Floyd.
Well, I would think he would be highly desirable, but if you have any intention of staying in the race, he's a good man to have in your rotation.
Well, Robin and I were talking yesterday, and there's no question that the attitude on this ball club is different than it's been.
It's been very good all spring. There's a quiet confidence with this team that you could tell very early.
That breaking ball gets away from AJ.
It's going to go as a wild pitch.
Yeah, and just as we were discussing this yesterday morning, attitude can overcome a lot of things. You overcome a lot of talent or a lack of talent. So the first 2 men aboard via the walk. If you don't believe attitude can do something, all you got to do is look at the Tampa Bay Rays last year getting to the playoffs. That was unbelievable.
Tampa Bay Rays most every year. I mean, Joe Madden has that team believing in itself, regardless of what they have, even though they lost their whole bullpen. And yet, they came around in arguably the toughest division in baseball and made it to the playoffs.
Unbelievable.
And this team, this Arizona team, just Kirk Gibson, that was a change.
Change of attitude.
Kevin Towers, they changed the culture in the clubhouse. Didn't tolerate anything less than 100% on a daily basis. And that's why Kirk Gibson was named the manager of the year.
Here's Lyle Overbay. Takes first pitch strike. He's a 35-year-old veteran. Hitting at .222 on the spring.
Occasionally you can get Lyle. If you sink that ball away, he'll roll over it and get you that 4-6-3 double play. He does not run particularly well.
How about a 4-6-3 double play? Rack him up.
The shortstop batting ninth, number 16, John.
Nice play by Beckham and Escobar. The ball isn't hit all that hard. Eduardo comes across the bag, and no chance at all for Goldschmidt to get a piece of him, and they turn 2, which has a good chance of getting Gavin out of this inning without giving up anything.
Well, when you make a pitch like you were just talking to and about, that usually happens.
It'll happen. That's right. Throw where you want to throw it.
And unfortunately, I can speak from experience.
And let the guy roll over on it for you.
John McDonald, 37-year-old veteran shortstop, hitting at .200 on the spring. Well, there's another thing in baseball that, you know, the culture changes a little bit every decade. As there's a 2-hopper, and he walks the first 2, then the double play, then the soft ground ball. After an inning and a half, still no score. League play rolls on from Camelback Ranch, Glendale, so tune in as the good guys. Our good guys take the field for a Sunday afternoon showdown with the Giants. So don't miss a minute of the action. White Sox Giants Sunday at 3, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
The Giants were a team last year after Buster Posey went down. They kind of disintegrated offensively, and they pretty much because of that disintegration, allowed Arizona to win that division. But the Giants are back. Sandoval lost a lot of weight and is swinging the bat well. Posey is back. And that's going to probably be the #1 competitor for the Diamondbacks this year. Those Giants are pretty tough.
Paul Konerko, Pierzynski, Beckham here in the bottom of the second. Lays off that high and away, 1-0. Well, we did not finish telling you that drill that we were talking about Manto and Alex Rios working on yesterday. Is that when Manto was giving him his flips, he had 5 balls. 5 baseballs in his hands, and he would look at Alex and say, "You ready?" And he'd say, "Yes." He'd throw the flip, he'd hit it. Throw another one real quick, immediately, he'd hit it. Throw another one, he'd hit it. Throw another one, he'd hit it. Throw another one, he'd hit it. That's a little pop up in the short left field, misjudged right there by Parra, but recovers and out. And I've never seen that drill before, and I'll tell you, it's one of the best drills I've ever seen.
Well, there's a look at Jeff, brand new hitting coach this year. You've described that as the toughest job in all of baseball as far as coaching is concerned.
It's the toughest uniform job in baseball, is the hitting coach. And to this day, I still don't understand. You need 2 hitting coaches. I've said it forever, even as a player. You need one for line drive hitters, and you need one for power hitters, because their thought processes are entirely different. And to have a line drive type hitter trying to teach home run hitters and get them into that frame of mind, you're not going to do it. You might have success with one, but overall, you know, and plus you got 13 guys that you got to be the psychologist, so to speak, and have them come to you, and you got to be a good listener. Toughest uniform job in baseball. That ball hit hard into right center field, and nobody's going to get that one as Steve picked the clip with a ground rule double. AJ had 29 of those last season.
This ball almost one-hopped out of the ballpark. That ball is out of way. AJ, who most likely will be hitting in the 2 spot this year. One hop the wall. Winds up at second. Now score the first run of the ball game.
So here's Beckham. Gordon at 225 on the swing with a homer and 4 knocked in. Takes first pitch strike. Yeah, but in that drill, as soon as that ball is hit, the next one's in the air. So you got to go back, set, load up, and come back in a hurry. And it causes you, what it does is it causes you to load up naturally without thinking about it. You just react. And the next thing, it makes you keep the bat in front of you because you can't have that big old long loopy swing and get back in time.
I would think quickness would be one of the things that drill is going to teach you.
No question about it. That's I told Alex, that's the best you've swung a bat since you've been in the White Sox uniform.
Dan Johnson making a big effort to make this team. There is one spot up for grabs on that bench. And Johnson does have some power.
He hit a very big home run last year for Tampa Bay.
Well, did he ever?
Got him in the playoffs. Dan hitting at 250 on the spring with a couple of homers. And another RBI. As AJ will score, and it's 1-0 Sox.
RBI number 6 this spring for Dan Johnson, who continues his quest for a spot on the bench. Takes it right back up the middle. So Saunders has been victimized by a couple of lefties this inning.
So here's Jim Gallagher. Last year at Charlotte at 246, 7 homers, 54 knocked in. Had 39 doubles and a couple of triples. Had a good spring last season. Got off to a good start at Charlotte and then got some injuries that hampered him and slowed him up. That breaking ball misses, 2-1. I'll tell you, we've got a young outfielder down there. And we understand we lost our feed momentarily, but it's back now. We apologize for that. But we've got a young outfielder down there this night. Every spring I pick out a minor league player from my minor league pick to click.
And this year?
His name is Andy Wilkins. And he has got one of the best left-handed swings you'll ever see.
Where's he going to wind up?
Birmingham. And I didn't know who he was. I was standing there with Robin watching batting practice. And I didn't say anything after the first round. Then he hit in the second round. I looked at Robin and I said, "Who in the heck is this guy?" Because there's ball 4. And Robin smiled and laughed. And he said, "I had exactly the same reaction as you did. A couple of days earlier, I was over there." He pointed toward the minor league thing. And I was watching this kid take back for a second. He said, "Who is this guy?" He said, "Get him over here." So when I came back, I didn't even know he was in the organization. And I checked him out. He's out of the University of Arkansas. He's 6'1", 225 pounds. And last year in his first full season at Winston-Salem hit 278, 23 homers, and drove in 89.
That's a nice year.
First year out, first full year? Yes, it is. And he's got a swing that reminded me so much of Ventura's. Got great top hand, and the ball has got a different sound. He just jumps off his bat.
There's a look at Mark Parent, who is Robin's bench coach.
Good eye. Eduardo hitting at .480 with a homer and 6 RBIs on the spring. Last year at Charlotte at .286, 4 homers, 49 knocked in, 23 doubles, 4 triples, and 13 stolen bases. Watch out. Joe McEwing, watch out.
Get down quickly. That's what I like, those fast reflexes.
For those 23 home runs, Wilkins also had 33 doubles. As he strikes him out, but the base hit by Dan Johnson knocks in A.J. Pierzynski, who had doubled, and it's 1-0 Sox. 1-0 good guys here in the top of the third inning. If you're just tuning in from Camelback Ranch, Glendale. First of 5 games coming your way for the rest of spring training right here on Comcast Sportsnet as Gerardo Parra. First ball hunting. Nice pick right there by Paulie. Gives him a perfect feed. What move? 1 pitch, 1 out.
That's more like it for Gavin, who walked the first 2 last inning for getting out of it. Paul makes a nice play going away from the bag. Gavin is there in plenty of time.
Well, you were a breaking ball pitcher. And, well, first, let me restate this. Steve, at one time, before he hurt his shoulder, had a terrific fastball. But then you had to learn to adjust, and you became a breaking ball pitcher. And the one thing that, as a hitter, I never understood is that you get pitchers out there who have a good curveball, like a Gavin Floyd, or like a Steve Stone. And in Gavin's case, a lot of times he tries to throw his best curveball on the first pitch, first thing, and you don't have to.
No, I talked to a lot of pitching coaches, and one of them told me one thing that always stuck. He said, you can't strike anybody out on strike 1.
Right.
If you throw him your best on strike 1 and he takes it, that's all you've done is gotten strike 1. He said, but if you throw a get-me-over curveball on the first pitch, then you have then you have your best one as a wipeout pitch.
And we used to love it when we'd get guys out there. He was always trying to get that first pitch, the best curveball over on the first pitch.
Then you miss, and now you got problems.
That's just fisted into center field. And one caveat there, so just make sure it's not a hanger.
Well, that's true. Those go a long way. Well, buddy, Jack Ruby looking on tonight. And his daughter is enjoying a birthday coming up. Jack, I think, is in his late 70s, so his daughter must be somewhere in her 40s. So, happy birthday to Laura.
Here's Upton. He bounced out to Escobar, who made a good play on him. Ate him up, pops him up. Paulie.
Good pitch on the first pitch. So a couple of outs on the first pitch. Getting Upton out is a good trick anytime, but especially if you can get him out with 1 pitch. That young man has tremendous power to all fields.
That'll bring up Montero. He drew a walk. If you're just tuning in, Gavin has walked 3 in this game. He walked Montero in the first, and he walked Blum and Goldschmidt leading off the second. You can check your device, because I think you're probably going to be getting a text here shortly. One and 0 the count. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for their guys. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for our guys. Did not pull the trigger on that one.
Montero out of Venezuela. Look back at Hal Gibson. Well, pitcher's got to have that one.
Well, you got it. Pull the string on him a little bit, high into center field. Should be a can of corn for Diaz. It is, and that'll retire the side. We'll go to the bottom of the third with a 1-0 lead. Throwing out the first pitch tonight is a young man from Midlothian. His name is Andrew Wisher. Throwing out the first pitch to Harold Baines, big Sox fan, getting his family out from Midlothian. Right here's the bottom of the third. It'll be the top of the order. Piazza, Lillibridge, and Rios to face 30-year-old southpaw Joe Saunders. First pitch strike. The season tickets for the 2012 White Sox season are available right now. Purchase a full season plan or choose from 2 great split season plans and gain access to the best seats, the best price, with the most benefits. Plans start just below $400 and can be purchased by visiting whitesox.com or calling 312-674-1000. And there's a base hit for Alejandro.
Five right-hand hitters in the lineup tonight against a left-handed starter, and yet all 3 hits have been by the lefties.
Here's Lillibridge. Struck out on a high fastball. Well, it's certainly not the norm, but there are a lot of left-handed hitters, unless you're talking about CC Sabathias or somebody like that. They love to hit off left-handed pitching. And the same thing for right-handers. I know in my case, I had much rather hit off a right-handed. I was a right-handed hitter, hit off a right-handed pitcher than a left-handed. I hated left-handed pitching. They got you out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that don't like the ball going away from them. The left-hander's fastball tails away from the right-hand hitter. They would much rather have that fastball tailing in.
That's why I like right-handers. I wanted the ball coming in. Good swing. Fouls it away. Diaz, as I mentioned, 12 stolen bases last year. Watch out.
Alejandro got back fairly easily. When you're that far in front of the bag taking the throw, it's almost impossible to tag anybody out sliding into the bag.
Well, if you'll recall last year when we played the D-backs, they did a lot of pickoff plays in spring training. A lot. And that's the best place to do it. And you played with a team that was just fabulous in doing that, and that was the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, they had, it wasn't just normal pickoffs. I mean, it was always signs from the catcher. And things like that. Guessing when the guy is going to run.
I was talking with former Sox, check that, former Twin manager, Tom Kelly. As there's he was going on first move and it didn't work. But here last year we were talking about why the Minnesota Twins were so good over the years in fundamentals. And a matter of fact, I've got the sheet that he drew it on. He got a sheet of paper and he drew the circle.
You kept that from last year?
Yeah, I just found it in my book.
There
I was
it is.
going through it, yeah. He drew a circle, that was the infield. He drew pitcher's mound and home plate. And he started circling all this stuff in here around the diamond. And he said, this is where most ball games are lost, as that's muscled out into right center field. So Brent, 1 for 2. He said this is the area, though, that most ball games are lost. And he said this is one reason the Minnesota Twins over the years have been real good in fundamentals. This is where they do 90% of their work in spring training. Right in this area right here. Pitchers doing their work in there. Communication between the pitcher and the third baseman, pitcher and the first baseman, bunch situations.
Getting used to rundowns.
Exactly.
And making sure you execute them well. But a lot of teams don't feel bunts very well, and they just don't know what to do when they get the bunt.
How about the rundowns? When we first got here, that's all our club was doing, is that working on rundowns out there. And then I was talking with Robin, and I said, and Mike Gellinger was standing there, and I said, Gelly, I said, what do you think the percentage is? Of all the rundown plays we see during the season, how many of them were screwed up by our team and other teams? And he looked at me. I said, what do you think, 50%? He said, yeah.
Well, sometimes you see a rundown, even if it's successful at the end, you see 5 or 6 throws. That opens you up to a lot of problems.
That opens you up to you don't know what to do with the ball. Rios pops it up in short center. Aaron Hill goes back, makes the catch. So twice, Alex has gone into short center. Once to Chris Young, and now Aaron Hill.
That was a good changeup, and Alex caught it off the end of the bat. You see, he's left with just the handle in his hands. And Aaron Hill goes up, makes a nice play, avoiding Chris Young.
Tom Kelly and the Twins, I'll tell you, they, over the last 25 years, without question, Baltimore there for a long time was the best fundamental club in the American League, and then the Twins took over. Paulie popped up to Para in left field.
That goes along with the saying that most good managers will tell you that many more games are lost than are actually won. You're going to lose the game as opposed to beating the other team.
That's why the Oakland A's that won 5 consecutive divisional titles and 3 consecutive world championships back in the 72, 3, 4. That's why they were so good. They didn't beat themselves. That's why the Chicago White Sox in 05 have a World Series run. That year in the American League, we beat ourselves fewer times than anybody else. And that's what Robin's trying to work on right now. Don't beat yourself. That's foul down.
Well, the Diamondbacks last year had the best percentage in one-run games in the National League. And it had a lot to do certainly with getting some timely hitting, but it also had to do with a vastly improved bullpen. That was one of the things Kevin Towers did with his ball club. As you look at Don Baylor standing next to Kurt Gibson, Baylor, just a terrific hitting coach, has had a couple of shots at management. But that Diamondback bullpen last year was very good.
Well, as a rule, the secret to winning and going to postseason play is winning close ball games. And as a general rule, when you're winning, in their case, led the National League in close ball games, you're doing 2 things. You're getting good bullpen work, and you're playing good defense.
And they had that. They had an outfield. Para, Young, and Upton, the equal of any outfield maybe in baseball as far as catching the baseball, going to get it, and then throwing people out once you did get it on a base hit. There you look at maybe the
Kansas City outfield was pretty fun to watch.
They were terrific, and they broke that up, sending Melky Cabrera to San Francisco. But Gerardo Parra might have the best left field arm in all of baseball. Kansas City has a problem. Their closer, Joakim Soria, is out for the year with elbow surgery.
That's a fair ball right down the line by A.J. Here comes one. Lillibridge will score. Polly in the third. So Pierzynski 2 for 2, a double, and the Sox lead it 2-0. Well, Kansas City also took another big hit. Salvador Perez.
Well, we saw him last year, and I talked to a buddy of mine early in the spring, and he was talking about his fantasy ball club, and I said, Kansas City has a catcher that might go under the radar, Salvador Perez. Turns out he's going to be lost for 3 months. So a promising young team is starting to fall apart early. You still love the corners, Moustakas and Hosmer, but there's two guys going to really hurt them by their absence.
To me, last year, the most fun team to watch in the American League were the Kansas City Royals. And the reason being, they didn't win that many ball games, but boy, they played hard and they were young. And you could see what was coming with those guys. If they could get some pitching, they were going to be competitive.
Well, they've got some young pitchers coming along. They might not quite be ready this year, but next year, the year after, it's going to be a very, very solid team.
They were just fun to watch.
They weren't fun to play against because they gave you 9 really tough innings.
They played hard for 27 outs. Takes it right there. And the count 3-1. And that'll load him up. So sacks packed with Sox, and that'll bring up Dan Johnson, who had an RBI single last inning.
So Saunders, who came into this game with an ERA up over 9 for the spring, is finding some difficulties here in Glendale. Montero goes out to talk with him, try to settle him down. 3 walks, a couple of strikeouts, and he's given up 5 hits and a couple of runs with the bases loaded and a chance for more for Dan Johnson.
Takes first pitch strike. No runs on 2 hits for the D-backs. 2 runs on 5 hits for our Sox. He got a cookie right there. He is upset with himself, as he should be.
Hanging slider. Well, that just came in rolling. Hitters don't get a chance to see many of those. When they do see them, especially just about thigh high, that's the one you want to tattoo.
Tags it up. A lot of guys are starting to throw fewer slurves or sliders and going to the cutter.
Less time to adjust, certainly.
I tell you, that cutter, to me, is the most devastating pitch in the game. And there's a shot base hit right back through the middle. That's going to score a pair. So Dan Johnson, 2 for 2, 3 RBIs, and it is 4-0 Sox.
Dan has 3 driven in. And a high fastball taken right back through the middle, past a diving Hill at second base. So a tough inning for Saunders, who's knocking at the door of 30 pitches here in the third inning.
Don't stop now, boys. As here is Gallagher, who walked last inning. Pops him up, jammed himself to a degree. But a crooked number goes up on that board. We have completed 3 and lead it by 4. Is when Patrick Kane and our Hawks hit the road for a battle with the Devils in New Jersey. Coverage begins at 5:30 with Chicago Tribune Live. Blackhawks Devils Tuesday night at 6, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend, and they're starting to play very good again.
They had a tough stretch there for a while, but things are looking good again.
Oh, man, it was Hughley.
Jeez.
4-0 good guys here, top of the 4th inning. It'll be Young, Blum, and Goldschmidt. Young 0 for 1 back in the 1st inning with a couple of guys on. Hit a shot off the glove of Gavin and carry him right over perfectly to Beckham. And we know that Sully, Gwen, and Grace are watching, talking about Beckham. That's their boy. Sully, those cheese straws can come at any time. Gordon's mom. She makes the best cheese straws. They are awesome. That's way back.
You give Young a hittable fastball in a situation where he's looking for it, and it was a 2-1 pitch. He just smoked a fastball, his 3rd of the spring. He's driven in 5, and that was a no doubting.
He came in hitting at 438.
See that fastball? Outer half, just about knee high, and Young got most of it.
So here's Blum. He walked and singled now. Well, the best way to slow up a 95-mile-an-hour fastball is to have the count. If you're 2-1, 3-1, that'll take a lot off that 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Just sit and look for it. And occasionally you get it, and if you get it, In the case of Young, he doesn't miss that many of those.
Goldschmidt also walked. Takes a breaking ball strike.
Goldschmidt, a nice sized guy, 6'3", 244 pounds. 8th round pick by these Diamondbacks back in 2009, so he got here pretty quickly.
This will be the 58th pitch. Off the end of the bat, breaking ball. Gordon loses his footing, but recovers and throws out Goldschmidt.
That one would have been tough to turn to anyway. The ball was hit off the end of the bat. Gordon was going to his left. He would have had to turn completely around. Again, a slowly hit ball. The composure to just get the one with a 3-run lead.
Talking about hitting into a double play, Overbay went 4-6-3 back in the second to bail Gavin out of a huge jam after he had walked the 2 leadoff guys. Pulled a string on him, missed, and the count 2-0. Been a long day for our guys, our coaching staff.
Well, they played a very long game in Tucson. Things didn't work out very well. The game got longer. You watch the opposition score 17 runs. And then you make the drive back here, which is a good hour and a half any way you look at it, probably 2 hours. And now you go right into a night game.
There's the strike. 3-1 to count. Well, there are a lot of baseball fans that don't really know the schedule that's kept by the coaching staff in the spring.
Well, you got to really want it to be a coach in the springtime. Because these guys are here earlier than anybody, way earlier than anybody.
Leave around 5:30.
Yeah, later than anybody
in the morning. And the camp coordinator, I believe, for the Yankees is there every morning at 4, getting things mapped out for the day.
Then you have your B games, which are early, so your pitchers can get work. Then you have your doubleheaders and split squad games, which is what's happened today.
Big on. Hook. Down and in.
The shortstop, number 16, John McDonald.
That ball just disappears. And so does Overbay.
I came out early yesterday. I was here at 7:30, and they already had the cages full, guys hitting. There's that get me over breaking ball that Steve was talking about.
Donald, one of 3 utility men that the Diamondbacks are going to use in the absence of Stephen Drew.
Fastball high. 2 out. Man at second. 1-1 to count to the 37-year-old veteran. That's in the hole, base hit. Here's the throw to the plate. Cut off by Lillibridge.
Well, I'm not sure why he cut that off, and I think A.J. is really upset because that ball looked to be right on the mark, and they would have had a very good shot at Blum. Gallagher charged the ball, played it very well, played it very aggressively. He came in, and his throw looked to be right there. You can see plenty of time, and A.J. is kind of throwing up his hands going, why'd you cut it?
So it's a 4-2 game. And here's Parra. Here's a play right there that for an everyday third baseman who's playing, number one, Paul would not have cut it.
Right, different story, right? If Morel is there,
right,
he doesn't cut it.
Number two, you've got to know who's running. McDonald can't run. He's not going to go in the throw unless it's way high. He's not going to go to try to go into second base. So it's a situation there that let it go because he's not. The runner's not going to advance.
No, and again, probably Lillibridge not that familiar with Jeff Blum, but Blum does not have particularly good speed. Even though Matt Williams took a gamble, he took the gamble with 2 outs. And he sent him, put the pressure on the defense.
Well, it worked. Underneath, but they come up a homer by Young. RBI single by McDonald. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It is 4-2 White Sox.
Baseball next.
Join the White Sox for their home opener on Friday, April 13th against the Tigers from Detroit at 1:10 p.m. All fans will receive a 2012 White Sox magnetic schedule presented by U.S. Cellular, the exclusive wireless provider of the Chicago White Sox. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
For 38, Eduardo Escobar.
Sox lead at 4-2 here in the bottom of the 4th. Escobar. Then back to the top of the order with Diaza and Lillibridge. Now feels short, around to the right. And that pitch is popped up right out behind second. So Eduardo now 0 for 2. He came in hitting at .480 in the spring with a homer and 6 RBIs.
It'll be a tough decision as to that last man on the bench. Escobar certainly is going to be given a lot of consideration. as is Dan Johnson. They both provide you a different type of player, a different look, maybe a little more flexibility with Escobar, certainly more power with Johnson. Left hand versus a right hand hitter.
A lot of times that's the determining factor.
But there weren't a whole lot of jobs available.
As we speak, Dan Johnson is second on this club in RBIs this spring.
He's always swung the bat well.
He has 8. Adam Dunn has 12. And for all of you out there, Adam Dunn looks like a different guy. In fact, I was watching him hit day before yesterday in the morning. And when he came back around after going around the bases, I told him, I said, Adam, so you're doing something that I haven't seen you do or hear all last season. And he said, what are you talking about? I said, I can hear your bat now. I said, I didn't hear your bat one time last year. When he goes through to make the swing, you can hear that. He said, that was my cousin Troy last year. That wasn't me. I said, oh, y'all look alike. He said, oh, yeah.
Well, what a year. One of those years you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. Because nothing went right.
I'll tell you
nothing
what,
at all.
As good as it could be handled, he handled it.
No doubt.
But he's lost a lot of weight. He looks great. Driving the ball. As I said, the bat speed you can hear now. Here's Lillibridge. He's 1 for 2. With a run scored. Drops the hook on him. That's bad news for the Yankees. Java Chamberlain, in case you did not hear, had a terrible accident because that's out of play. Dislocating his right ankle, and evidently it was compounded. It went through the skin and he was bleeding profusely on a trampoline with his son.
I guess it kind of begs the question, if you're a major league pitcher late in spring training, what are you doing on a trampoline?
He missed the year. Got him upstairs. So a 1-2-3 inning for Joe Saunders. Grinds Coffee Pouches, the healthier alternative to tobacco for professional baseball. Visit getgrinds.com for more information.
And I want to introduce you now to the man sitting to my left, Roland Heeman, who I have a special affinity for because he was a guy that originally got me to the White Sox in 1973. But Roland, you're now a special assistant to the president and the CEO of the Diamondbacks. Long history with the White Sox as well as a number of other clubs. And we're going to honor Dick Allen this year for the 1972 Most Valuable Player Award for the White Sox. I know that was one of your favorite teams and one of the favorite teams in Chicago.
Well, I have great memories of that year, certainly acquiring Dick Allen at the winter meetings in Scottsdale, actually, in Arizona at the meetings for Tommy John. And Tommy had not had arm trouble yet, but Dick Allen had played at Philadelphia in 1 year in St. Louis, 1 year with the Dodgers. And then when Al Campanis indicated they might trade him, I went to Chuck Tanner. I said, "What do you think, Chuck?" He said, "I'd love to have him." You know, Chuck, enthusiastic. Said, "I know his mother, his brothers, 8 miles from Newcastle where Chuck lived.
Wampum, PA.
So anyway, we announced the trade, and 15 minutes later we traded Rich McKinney to the Yankees for Stan Bonson. And then the next paid off very, very well the very next year.
Now, Monday, June 25th, Allen and other members of the 72 White Sox will be honored by the Chicago Baseball Museum at their fundraising dinner at U.S. Cellular Field. The festivities for the museum's dinner will begin at 6 p.m. at the Stadium Club. And you can get tickets for that event on June 24th at U.S. Cellular Field by visiting whitesox.com or calling 312-674-1000. Now, I know you had a guy that went on, I think he went on to have a pretty good career. Rich Gossage, I think, right-hander, his name. He was on that ball club?
Yes, he jumped from Class A Appleton, Wisconsin to Midwest League and made the club the next spring. And we had Wilbur Wood as one of my favorites. He pitched 376 and 2/3 innings that year. He was 24-17, and you'd rest the bullpen because he'd go the route and pitch all those innings. And then Stan Bonson pitched 13 times on 2 days rest, and Tom Bradley 12 times on 2 days rest. So the flamethrowers, Gossage, Terry Forster, and Bart Johnson could come in as youngsters and finish a game here and there, but they didn't have to be overworked.
Well, I do remember that three-man rotation because it was used the next year in '73 also with Wilbur and Bonson and me. That was easy on Wilbur. Very tough on the conventional pitchers, however.
Yes, it wasn't as good a year naturally, but we're going back to '72. That's what we're going to celebrate. So I'd rather talk about the '72 club.
Oh, there's no doubt. And Bill Melton was on that team.
Well, if Melton didn't suffer a back injury in mid-season, I really think we had a real chance of finishing ahead of the great Oakland Athletics club. We only 5.5 games behind them at the final of the season, but we missed Melton from July on, and he had led the league in home runs the year prior in '71, and to lose that big bat really hurt.
Well, imagine as good as that Oakland team was with the stars that it had, and yet Dick Allen was the MVP of the league. So you can only imagine what kind of year he had that year.
He carried the club on his back. He led in slugging percentage. He led in just about every offensive department. And he had great clutch hits. There was a day that he wasn't in the lineup for the second game in doubleheader. Chuck had told me he'd rest him here and there, and we beat the Yankees in the first game. And the second game, he's not in the lineup. And I said, Chuck, Dick didn't think that the hitter rule was right. He says they should be a complete player, and this was a new rule. So came the ninth inning. We're down 2 runs, and they're killing time. Walt Williams got a base hit. Mike Andrews got a base hit. And then Chuck wasted more time to get a pinch runner for Andrews, and they found Allen in the clubhouse to get out there. And as Andrews went across the mound, he told Sparky Lyle, he says, "You're in deep trouble now." He says, "I know it." Allen comes up, first pitch, line drive in the left center field seats, and the crowd went wild.
One of the things about those relievers you're talking about, at that particular point in time, the best right-handed arm you had in that thing was Bart Johnson.
Yeah, no question. He was sidearm.
He had a better arm at that point than Gossage.
Yeah, he better assortment of pitches as well. And unfortunately, he suffered a back injury on a wet mound in Sarasota, and that broke my heart to see this fine young man who had the makings of a Cy Young pitcher to suffer that terrible injury, which, hurt his career.
He had some of the best right-handed stuff I ever faced.
Well, he played a game on an opening day in Oakland. He struck out Reggie Jackson 4 times, and Reggie, I talked to him later, he said he never fouled the ball. He didn't get a nick on his bat the whole day.
That does surprise me. I can say ditto.
Well, you guys brought up, those 3 guys you brought up almost simultaneously might have been 3 of the best arms to ever come out of one organization at one time.
I can't think of any since I've been in the game this period of time to see 3 like that to match them.
Because Forster's stuff was overwhelming with 3 different pitches,
right.
And Goose had the liveliest fastball to ever want to see. And we already talked about Bart's stuff. Well, once again, let me tell you that tickets for the June 24th game at US Cellular Field can be purchased by visiting WhiteSox.com or calling 312-674-1000. And the festivities for the museum's dinner will begin at 6 p.m. on Monday, June 25th. Allen and some other members of that fine 72 White Sox team will be honored by Chicago Baseball Museum at their fundraising dinner at U.S. Cellular Field.
That's great. Dr. David Fletcher is spearheading the building of the museum, so it's going to be great to see the openings of it later on and perpetuate the legacy of the 2 Chicago clubs.
Well, Roland, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. It's always a pleasure.
We're halfway home, leading 4-2. Roland Heeman, Hall of Famer, I should say, Roland Heeman. Anything's possible, and what's this? Justin Upton thought he had himself a knock. Terrific play by Beckel. You might tie him out there defensively, but you're not going to beat him.
Now, he had a great year despite some of his problems with the bat. Never took it to the field with him. And you look at Brett Lauren, the king-size right-hander, 6'7", 245, out of Laguna Niguel, California. That is a big right-hander who had a pretty good year last year in A-ball.
Alex Rios will lead it off. Takes that one inside. He's 0 for 2. He's popped up to center and popped up to second. Yeah, that 72 club. They had some arms on that thing. And, of course, to me, to this day, there's a strike. To this day, one of the most under-the-radar players outside of Chicago has been Dick Allen. I mean, Philly knew how good he was. Everybody who he played for knew how good he was. He was absolutely adored by his teammates and also the opposition. In fact, Don Drysdale, God rest his soul, said Dick Allen, as that got him, said Dick Allen could steal a base anytime he wanted to.
He could hit the ball as far as anybody around.
Well, Dick Allen and I played against each other coming up in the minor league. He played at Williamsport in 1962. I was in Binghamton. And Williamsport was literally a man box. And he only hit, I think, 18 home runs, maybe 20 in that ballpark. He couldn't hit, his best ball was 400 feet. So we go to spring training next year with the big club. He's with the Phillies. I'm with Kansas City. And we go in to play him in Clearwater, and there's this guy in the cage hitting him over the light tower.
He grew up in 1 year?
In one season. I walked up to the cage, and it was Richie. I called him Richie. Richie, what happened? You've been lifting? He said, no, Hawk. He said, I don't know. He said, I just grew up. He was literally went from his best ball being 400 feet to his best ball being over 500 feet.
Well, he used a 40-ounce bat, and if you slowed it down, it would be pointing. The head of the bat would be pointing at the pitcher, and he'd still get his hands back and able to get through the strike zone. It was just amazing.
Well, he's a great guy, too. As a matter of fact, in 1986, I hired Dick to come back and be Kenny Williams' personal hitting instructor.
How'd that work out?
Well, Kenny's the general manager.
And Dick's not a hitting coach.
Paulie takes a breaking ball strike. Paulie 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. No, but Dick could fly. He could run. Terrific first baseman. You know, he's the only hitter that I've ever known or ever heard of as he gets him. So that is out number 1. Who in spring training, up until the last week or 10 days of spring, never swung the bat until he had 2 strikes. Just wanted to see pitches.
Just wanted to keep seeing as many pitches as he could.
Right. He never swung the bat until he had 2 strikes. Here's AJ, 2 for 2, 2 doubles, 2 runs scored, and 1 knocked in. Steve's picked the click this evening.
Let's take a look at what he's done today. At that point, Joe Saunders hadn't given up anything. And he helped eventually put a 4-bagger on Saunders before he left after 4 innings. So a big day for AJ. Could mark the beginning of a brand new pick-to-click year for me. This could be it.
That's really pushing you.
No, I mean this might be the turn. We might look back in September at this day.
This was the definitive day.
This was the biggest day for the pick-to-click for me.
That ball hit hard in center field. Young back. He's not going to get it. That ball's off the back wall, so Alex is going to score.
Come on, AJ. Come on, AJ.
McEwing is going to wave him around. They're going to get him with a decent throw. It's off the mark. There's a home run and inside to Parker for Pierzynski. Meanwhile, Sox lead is 6-2. Yes.
An inside the park home run.
Robin, get him out of there right now.
Get the man some oxygen.
A couple of tanks of it.
That ball hit high off the wall and took an abrupt right turn. Young looks up at it and realizes the only guy that can make it is Upton. He's got to get to the ball. Now AJ realizes he's going to make it.
That is a long way to run. 120 yards. That ball smoked but foul by Gordon.
Especially when you consider that he thought the ball was out of the ballpark, so he went to first base and then realized it stayed in the park and had to turn it on.
That's his 3rd homer of the spring. AJ came in hitting just 172 with those 2 homers and 4 RBIs, but he has been swinging the bat. Well, I said in our first telecast, I think he's going to have a big year. Mechanically speaking, he is short and quick.
I like him. I like him a lot in the 2 spot. I think he's really going to help out. He doesn't strike out. He will make contact.
It's going to help him out for a couple of reasons. First of all, he understands the responsibilities of the 2-hole hitter, which has more responsibility than any other slot in that lineup. The next thing is AJ has a tendency to swing at too many bad first pitch pitches. This is going to help him see more pitches and ergo help him be, and I think, a more productive hitter.
Well, also, if Diaza is running well, AJ is going to see more fastballs. That's just what happens with a lot of 2 hitters. 3 for 3 with 2 doubles and an inside the park home run.
Dan Johnson is 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. RBI single in the second and a 2-run single in the third. That coming with 2 out. Takes a strike. So Rios leading off, hit by a pitch. Got Lauren in trouble in a hurry, and Sox lead it by 4. That is out of play. 6 runs on 7 hits for our guys. 2 runs on 5 hits for their guys. Defending National League Western Division champion Arizona D-backs with a record of 94-68 last year. You could have busted everybody if you'd have said they were going to win that National League West.
Well, when you took a look at some of the years of their pitchers and realized that the 1 and 2 in their rotation, Ian Kennedy went 21-4, Daniel Hudson went 16-12. Together they had about a 3-point ERA combined.
And there's another base hit for Dan Johnson. So he will cruise with his 3rd hit in the second. Well, again, attitude. We touched on it early in the game. You talked about how Gibson came over and turned that clubhouse culture around.
Yep.
An attitude can mean so much to a ball club. We have seen it. We talked about the Tampa Bay Rays. We've seen it with other clubs in the past. Look at the Cardinals last year. The attitude they had, they were down and came back.
They were down and almost out.
Yeah. I remember them being down late in the season. There's a base hit. So here comes Johnson now. He's going to be held. And a good thing. But they were late in the season down 10 games. And came back and won a world championship.
10 games with their #1 pitcher, Adam Wainwright, out for the season. The bullpen in complete disarray most of the year until finally coming together at the end. And they turned it into a swan song World Series championship for Tony La Russa, Dave Duncan, and the rest of that crew.
So here is Escobar. Eduardo 0 for 2. Well, all us White Sox fans know one thing. We've seen a few years in the past 15 that we had better talent in Minnesota than they won. That's out of play left side. 0-2 the count.
Well, they got Terry Ryan back as their GM, but I don't think it's going to be a great year for the Twins this year. Pitching, I believe, is going to be very difficult for them. And they got to figure out what's going to happen with the big boy at first base. If Morneau can't play, they have to move Mauer to first. That's not a plus first baseman with his numbers.
That's tough out. Gardner is extremely pleased with the way that Joe Mauer looks and is feeling and playing.
Yeah.
Morneau is the big key, the big question. And if you look at last year, Billy Smith, who was relieved of his GM duties, he didn't do anything wrong. He just got hit with so many injuries. I've never seen a club get hit with that many injuries on their star players.
I was going to say big, important injuries. And especially with the big guy at first base going down, it made such a huge difference in the middle of that batting order.
Terry was never away. He was always there.
Yeah. But now
has been TK.
Now he's officially back,
yeah.
And Tom Kelly has been there from a long way back.
And Billy Smith is still there.
Yeah.
Now you got a cookie right there and couldn't do anything with it.
One of the things they have a big advantage of now is drawing a lot of people, and that's a high changeup that does very little of anything. So Lauren having some problems here in the fifth.
As it stands right now, the Tigers are looking very good and having an outstanding spring. Another foul. That's up high. Tigers today beat Pittsburgh 7-2. Tigers now 14-3 on the spring.
They're doing it now without Cabrera, who took a little chopper right in his face.
That was a shot.
Yeah.
Man. Fouls that back. And reminder, looking for a flexible ticket plan for the season. White Sox Pick 7 and Pick 14 plans let you select the games you want, including great matchups like the BP Crosstown Cup Series. And plans start at just $89. So call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com to order yours today. And that's popped up to left. But inside the park, two-run homer by A.J. Pierzynski will go to the sixth, leading 6-2. Carlos Boozer and the Bulls suit up. For a showdown with Denver's Wilson Chandler, and the Nuggets pay a visit to the United Center. Coverage begins at 6:30 with McDonald's Bulls pregame live. Bulls Nuggets, Monday night at 6:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Well, early it didn't look like Gavin Floyd was going to be able to make it into the 6th inning. The pitches were piling up. He had walked first 2 men in the 2nd inning before starting to get the ball down, throw some strikes, get some quick early outs, and here he is. It's the 6th inning, and he's still around.
Yeah, he threw 24 pitches in the 1st inning, then, as Steve mentioned, walked the first 2 hitters in the 2nd. That was a big double play that you called.
Yeah.
Off the bat of Lyle Overbay.
It gave him a little confidence that he could get the ball over the plate, because before then he was everywhere, and you can see 88th pitch coming, most of them early.
Yeah, sometimes that, so far, that has been the definitive pitch of the game. '39-year-old veteran Jeff Blum. Good pitch, close, didn't get it.
Got a couple of changes.
That's Marrero in left.
And Gallagher shifts to first.
He lost him. So the leadoff walk. 5th walk issued by Gavin. And here's Goldschmidt. He has walked, and he also has grounded to second. Ate him up.
And Don Cooper's going to get that bullpen up and going. Gavin Floyd has surpassed the 90 pitch mark.
Big hack, no contact, 0-2.
It's Septimo. He's left-handed.
He gone. Yes. 1 down.
Good fastball. Has most of the plate. And Goldschmidt caught looking.
Overbay, that double play back in the 2nd, and he struck out in the 4th. And they're going to get him again. Nope, couldn't find the ears. Little double clutch by Escobar.
Shortstop number 16, John McDonald.
Looked like a tailor-made 2. But Overbay did a nice job of going out, trying to at least disrupt the play. Actually did disrupt it. And stopped the double play.
And it was a good example. The ball was not hit that sharply, but still the guy does not run that well. Overbay does not run hardly at all. That's why you can't give up on it. As a runner, you just can't slide 15, 20 feet from the bag. You got to try to go in there as hard as you can. for just that reason.
And although he really couldn't hit the bag the way he slid, and some umpires would call the double play on that, you're not going to get that call all that often. You might as well go after the pivot man and try to keep the inning alive. That's what happened.
Watch out. Backs up, now goes over second base for the force. And that'll retire the side. Nothing across. There was a leadoff walk. He pitches over that. Bottom of the 6th inning with a 6-2 lead we have. Guests during the 2012 season, purchase a block of tickets or enhance your outing by upgrading to a pregame patio party. The Bertucci boys are there. Diamond Suite or one of our other great party areas. Call 312-674-1000 or visit WhiteSox.com to book your group outing today.
Got a new pitcher on the mound acquired from the Oakland Athletics, and that's Craig Breslow. Not having a great spring, but he had a very strong year last year. He's a durable left-hander. 67 appearances, 3.79 ERA. Maybe the smartest player in all of baseball. Graduated from Yale in 2002 with degrees in molecular biophysics and biochemistry. Wow. Seemingly too smart to be a pitcher, but there he is.
That's a mouthful you just said right there.
That's a lot of studying.
Daza will lead it off. Alejandro 1 for 3. Yeah, in other words, he was not sleeping in the library on game days.
No, I don't think so. And they don't give those degrees away at Yale.
I know one thing, he gave us a very difficult time.
Everywhere, and he's been around. He was at San Diego, Boston, the Red Sox, the Indians, Minnesota, and better part of 3 years with Oakland.
Checks it up. He did not go. Says Tyler Funeman. It's into left field, and it is caught. He's playing in perfect.
Nice play by Parra as Diaz hit the daylights out of that, but Parra right there.
You know something that they don't do anymore that they used to really enjoy in the press guys is they would have a pitcher's career record
against each team. Yeah.
Here's Lillibridge. He is 1 for 3 with a run scored. Oh, and 2 the count. Now field straight up for Lillibridge.
Kevin Towers got Trevor Cahill, a promising young starter, along with Craig Breslow. But it cost him his #1 pitching prospect, Jared Parker, along with Ryan Cook and Colin Cowgill. It was back in December of last year. So the Diamondbacks and Oakland completed a big trade.
And talking about the A's, they're over in Japan. As he gets Lillibridge, 2 down. A 12-hour flight from Phoenix.
Number 51, Alex Rios.
Yes, here's Rios. Alex started off that 2-run 5th, getting hit by a pitch. Scored on the inside Parker. Home run by Pierzynski.
That's going to be the regular opening series of the season with Oakland there.
Had him off balance. A's and the Mariners open up with a 2-game set Wednesday and Thursday at the Tokyo Dome. Good pitch, jammed in the bad throw, but they still get him to first. So it turns out to be a 1-2-3 inning. What new for Breslow? At 3:10 p.m. First 20,000 fans will receive a White Sox knit bomber hat. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Hector Santiago comes into the game, and he's had a great spring. And his screwball is the talk of the camp. There were some spots open in the bullpen, and it looks very well like this young man might be earning one.
Adam Eaton Hitting for Parra, who was 0 for 3. Well, he didn't do bad when he came up with us last year.
No, he didn't do bad at all. Especially for a guy who was a starting pitcher and then moved into the bullpen.
There's a sweeper. Screwball has become a lost art, as has the knuckleball. He gone. One down. Well, everybody's talking about Hector's screwball, certainly. But when he came up with us last year, he was throwing 94.
No, I mean, this is a guy that had a very good year, came up, was impressive in a couple of games, and made 3 different levels last year. Started at Winston-Salem, went to Birmingham, was a starting pitcher for 23 starts, and then came up with 2 relief appearances.
A.J. Pollock is the hitter for Aaron Hill, who was 2 for 3. He hit the ball hard all 3 times. No, the screwball. It's one heck of a pitch. When I first broke into the big leagues in 1963, there were a lot of screwballs around. I mean, the pitch.
Yes.
And the other as well. That's in the dirt.
You ever see left-handers throw the screwball to left-hand hitters? Or do they mostly save it for right-handers?
Very seldom. Orioles had a left-hander that had a good screwball who threw it. He would throw it to left-hander. Frank Bertania had a good changeup that looked like a screwball. Actually, it was more of a change than a screwball, but it acted like a screwball. So when that was his best pitch, and he would throw it to everybody. But you take Mike Cuellar, who had a great screwball.
And a good curveball to go with it.
Oh, big sweep. God rest his soul. He was a great guy, too. And that's fouled away. He almost never threw a screwball to left hand.
Got some defensive changes as Kyle Culligan comes in right field. Ray Olmedo comes in to play third.
It's high and deep. And it's a 6-3 ball game.
For the Diamondbacks, batting for Upton, number 14, Ryan Roberts.
That ball was up and out over the plate. And all you have to do is get it up in the air here.
And here's Ryan Roberts batting for Upton. Upton was 0 for 3, been robbed of a base hit. A beautiful catch by Beckham off a vicious line drive. Let's take another look at this pitch. That appeared to be a hanging screwball. And that's the one thing that you can't do.
No.
If you miss with that pitch, you have got to miss down. Best right-handed screwball, one of the best right-handed screwballs I ever saw, was a guy, a right-hander named Ray Moore. Post pitch didn't get it, and there's ball 4.
Roberts won the third base job last year. 19 home runs in 143 games. and stole 18 bases. Griffin comes on to hit for Montero.
And John Griffin takes ball one. Way more. He had a Jim Dandy. He had some time in a White Sox uniform from 1958, 59, and 60. Also pitched for Minnesota. That's when I saw him. This screwball looked like a good left-handed curveball.
That was like Mike Marshall.
Oh, yeah, Mike had a fantastic screwball.
Of course, he had a little help with that screwball.
You're not talking about kinesiology, are you?
Well, I'm talking about the toolkit that he had in his glove. But there were guys in those days that occasionally would scuff the baseball and do some things that enhanced the movement of the ball.
Well, you know, back in those days it was very common. I mean, you had almost everybody, not almost everybody, let's put it this way, you probably had 30% of the guys, pitchers, through spitters.
Yeah.
Hitters didn't mind that because you could hang a spitter just like you could hang a curveball. Umpires knew it because of the spin on it.
Yeah, it came in, it looked like the splitter looks like, except it was as fast as a fastball.
Right.
I mean, there was no spin on it. It just dropped out of sight if you threw it well. But they used to say hit the dry side.
As 2 down. 2 strikeouts for Hector. But the one thing that used to baffle me, when I faced Lou Burdett when he was with the Angels. Lou formerly was a 20-game winner with the Milwaukee Braves.
He had a good spin.
Well, everybody in the ballpark knew it because he had so much saliva on it. When he released it, there was a poof. Just a little, you could see it flying off the baseball. First time he threw me one, I just backed out and started laughing underneath my breath. Cody Ramson hitting for Young. Chris was 1 for 3 with a homer. 6-9-0 for us, 3-6-0 for them. And that pitch is popped up. Escobar makes the call, has the ball, and that'll retire the side. We're in the 7th inning stretch, leading by 3. On Comcast Sportsnet. Tune in for the Fire's home opener as they look to put the burn on the Philadelphia Union at Toyota Park. Don't miss a minute of the action. Fire Union tomorrow night at 7, right here, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Going to do pitcher for the Diamondbacks is Joe Patterson, who's a side-wheeling left-hander. There's a look at Patterson. And there are the numbers this spring in 5 games. They have a submarining right-hander named Brad Ziegler, who came over from Oakland and was here last year. And a very similar type left-hander who will throw from the side and close to down under at times.
So here's Marrero. You know, talking about some of the things the pitchers did. Hitters had some things they did themselves.
Yes, they did.
And that is flattening the bat out a little bit. Used to use a bone and a hammer and pound it and flatten that sweet spot out on the bat.
And corking the bat on occasion.
On a lot of occasions.
And put super balls, chopped up super balls in it.
Greg Nettles was hitting in Yankee Stadium. Tommy John was pitching. He hit him on the end of the bat, and the bat exploded. 5 little super balls come bouncing out on the ground. Big sweeping breaking ball, and that's out number 1. Sox on top 6-3 here in the bottom of the 7th.
Tough for a left-hander to hit. The left-hand pitcher throws from almost the angle of the second baseman. Marrero gives a little ground and takes a seat.
Hector Jimenez hitting for A.J. Pierzynski, who was 3 for 3 tonight if you're just tuning in. A couple of doubles. A 2-run inside the park home run and 3 RBIs. So I guess he is going to be pick-to-click winner tonight.
Just write this one down in your scorebook as the night it all turned.
Novel cannot come up with it. Ryan Roberts tried to make it.
Second baseman number 15.
It's one of those plays right there could go either way. From a pitching standpoint, it's an error. From a hitting standpoint, it's a hit.
No doubt. That's a short hop. It's a do or die pick. You've got to come in. You got to charge it. You can't wait back on the big hop. You have to try to take it on the short hop. It turned out to be a little longer hop than he wanted, and it caromed off the glove. They're going to give him a hit.
So here's Beckham, 0 for 2 with a walk. So AJ's gone.
Quite a night, and it's not an easy thing to get an inside the park home run anywhere. Watching that ball carom and go from center field to right center field. It's kind of an interesting shot off the wall.
And of course, if you miss that inside park homer, poof.
Well, AJ thinks it's gone, but take a look at that.
That's a half slide and a half fall right there.
I think when McEwing said keep going, AJ looked at him like, really?
We were playing at Old Al Lang Field down in St. Petersburg in spring training. Don't forget who was pitching. Anybody hit a ball out there in the right center field. And it hit the fence and bounced back over towards the line. As there's a fister, it's going to fall for a base hit. So Jimenez will make the turn. The throw. Not in time, but young man in right field can turn it loose.
It looked like a throw by Parra.
I love to see guys who can throw. That's Adam Eaton. But it did look like a throw by Parra.
They both have the same type of arm, straight over the top.
So here's Dan Johnson. He's 3 for 3 with a 2-out, 2-run single. That was in the third. He had an RBI single in the second. He also doubled in the fifth. But I hit a ball out there in the right center field, so they waved me around third. I was going to try for the inside the park. And it was early in the spring. You know, it's early games. I couldn't make it.
You weren't quite ready yet.
I fell about 10 or 11 feet short. And I could not move. I just lay there. 120 yards. That's not counting some of the rounds either. You know, the rounding it.
Well, especially early in the spring. And they charge him with a balk. Right there, you see the back leg start to move. He was in or coming to a set position, and then back leg moved, and that was the balk.
Big sweeper.
Dave Ross picked Dan Johnson as his pick to click.
Not enough.
No, it came a little short.
And there is ball 4. So Dan Johnson, a good night.
Back in the second inning, he started it off. Take a base hit right back through the middle. That drove in the first run of the game. Then with the bases loaded, singled in 2 before doubling down the line. So a perfect night for Dan Johnson in his bid. Trying to secure a spot on the bench.
Breaking ball strike. See, Gallagher has walked and singled. Count 0-2. Good check right there by Gallagher. Sox with the 1 in the second. Added 3 in the third. 2 in the fifth. D-backs 2 in the fourth and 1 in the seventh. Good pitch. He knew it, and that'll retire the side. We'll go to the 8th, leading by 3. subscribe to MLB.TV Premium today and get over 150 select spring training games with no blackouts and every regular season game live or on demand on your favorite devices. So visit WhiteSox.com for details.
Nate Jones comes into the game. There you look at the numbers, having a very good spring. Another one of the youngsters with a good arm. 9 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 6 in the 3rd inning. Jimenez stays the game. Yep. Bobby Thickman was telling me about Jones real early in the spring and said that he really liked his arm and liked his mound presence.
I was talking with Figgy about Addison Reed. I said, Bobby, can he do it? He said, you better believe he can. He said, he's got the makeup. And you know yourself, that makeup is almost everything as far as being a closer.
If you're going to take that position, you got to, number one, want it, and number two, believe that you want the ball for the last 3 outs of the game every day.
Ryan Buddy popped up over our dugout. Yeah, that approach, that makeup of the closer. You've seen them and I have too over the years. We've seen guys with great stuff who could not close. We've seen guys with mediocre stuff who are lockdown closers. Doug Jones.
Just a change up and
then a slower change up. And then a slower change
up. Not a whole lot else. Just get you out. In his later years, Rod Beck, the late Rod Beck,
the shooter,
saved 51 games for the Cubs one year, and he was thrown in the low 80s and high 70s. Absolutely amazing. Big arm swing, big mustache, and the ball would never get there.
Yeah.
Now, early in his career, he threw hard, but not late. But it was just plain attitude.
Well, we saw all Sox fans who are old enough to remember back. We saw Bobby go out there, Thickman go out there sometimes when he didn't have anything and still get the save. Now he might strand the bases loaded, and give you a heart attack, but he got the save. He got them out. They didn't score. Bad throw by Escobar.
Well, he waited and waited. I don't know if he couldn't get the handle of it, but you know, when you have a real good arm, you have a tendency a lot of times to want to show it off. Well, he's got it here, takes his time, and then airmails it at first.
There's Tommy Manzella hitting for Goldsmith. And of course, the Orioles had a reliever that was absolutely locked down, who couldn't blacken your eye if he hit you.
Did they call?
Stu Miller.
Oh, Stu Miller.
Old Turkey Neck Hall. He didn't throw very hard either, but he could throw it through a teacup. I hated to face him. Stu Miller, he's the only guy that I've ever seen cause a hitter to pull a hamstring. Jim Gentile was hitting against him, and it had been raining a little bit, and the batter's box was a little slippery. And he's trimmed that change up, and Diamond got out there so far he couldn't stop and pulled a hamstring. Diamond Jim, boy, he was a slugger.
Well, there's a lot of guys who close at the end with less than that overwhelming Goose Gotchas like fastball. Keith Folk was one of those guys that threw a great changeup and was a very successful closer.
Checks it up, takes the ball. And of course, the granddaddy of them all threw one pitch. You knew it was coming, and you couldn't hit it. Mariano Rivera.
For years. At least now he's using both sides of the plate, but for years he'd only use one side of the plate.
All right, you got a two-seamer now.
Yeah, I mean,
but he absolutely threw that one pitch, and you knew it was coming. And managers, he used to drive me up a wall. Managers used to send up left-handed pinch hitters to hit it off him, and he just ate them alive.
Broke every one of their bats.
Oh, wait. So that's out number one.
Designated hitter number 37, Lyle Overbay.
That'll bring up Lyle Overbay. Lyle is 0 for 3 tonight. But there's a good example of how hitters know what's coming and they still can't do anything with it. That's why hitting is so difficult against good pitching, because I don't care who you are. If a pitcher has this good control and decent stuff, you're 0 for 4. You're 0 for 4.
I remember doing a game years ago for ESPN early in the season, Yankees, Red Sox. Ariano comes in. Red Sox have left-hand hitters, plus they have a couple of pinch hitters. And they stood farther away from the plate as they moved along, and he broke every one of their bats, just cutting the fastball in on their hands. They'd move away from the plate. He'd still throw it. They'd still hit it, and the bat would crack and crack. I think he went an inning, maybe 4 or 5 outs, whatever it was, and just maybe one guy he didn't crack the bat. And they were all left-hand hitters.
Oh, yeah.
You just couldn't do it.
There's a strike. Every manager we've had here, and we'd be talking about Mariano, is that you can't send left-handed hitters up there to hit against him. And everyone sent left-handed hitters up there, and he got them all out. Well, another good case of what we're talking about, of knowing what's coming and can't do anything with it. The last 3 years that Johan Santana pitched against us, we knew every pitch he was throwing, and we still couldn't beat him.
Those were the years where the stuff was magical stuff, and the changeup was unbelievable. Same arm speed, same release point,
yeah,
as a fastball, and just you swung at the arm speed.
He go. 2 down.
Number 12,
Not a particularly good night for Lyle Overbay. Grounded into one double play, could have grounded into 2, and struck out the other 2 times.
So here's Evan Fry hitting McDonald's spot, who was 1 for 3 with an RBI. $6,518 on a beautiful evening here in Arizona. Picture perfect evening for baseball. And the first of 5 games coming your way from spring training, the rest of spring training, right here on Comcast Sportsnet. We've got Sunday's game. That's our next one. That'll be against the Giants. 3:05 start.
And the last game we'll do from spring training is that exhibition game with the Houston Astros in Houston before traveling to Arlington to open up against the Rangers. Well, that Houston team's going to have a tough year. And then they're going to be rewarded by having a tough year this year by moving into the American League West, where Albert Pujols is going to be waiting for him with the Angels, and the Texas Rangers are still going to be really tough. Welcome to the league, Astros.
Yeah. Got the 3 with Texas, and then 9th, 10th, and 11th, 3 with Cleveland. 12th is an off day, and of course, the 13th, opening our home season. 3 with the Tigers, and finishing that off that homestand with 4 against Baltimore. Nice pitch by Nate. As we mentioned, Nate has impressed everybody here this spring. funky motion. Lays it off back. And he's not a slinger. Almost like a catapult.
Yeah, it's a weird delivery, but it works for him. And not only does he have good stuff, but he has some deception with it.
Outfield short, swung well around to the left. Yes, he did. A good inning right there for Nate Jones, and the Sox still lead it 6-3.
Looking for something to add to the game is Margaret.
Club and get guaranteed prime tickets with the ultimate membership. Plus, all members receive ticket opportunities for every game, game day audio, and other exclusive perks all season long. Visit www.WhiteSoxPrideClub.com.
Brian Shaw comes into the game. ERA of 11.57. And you only go 4 2/3 if you give up a couple of runs. It makes for an inflated earned run average in the spring. And he has one of those. If you didn't join us earlier, Joe Saunders started this game, went 4 innings, gave up 4 runs on 6 hits. For us, Kevin Floyd went 6 innings, gave up a couple of runs on 5 hits, but he walked 5. And he got into the 90s in pitches in his 6 innings of work. Looks like Eric Soderholm's son at the ball game tonight. 1977 jersey.
Good man, Eric.
That was some jersey.
Yes, it was. I remember you look like little Lord Fauntleroy in yours with that afro.
Yeah, well, those are the days when if you had some hair, you grew it.
You showed it.
Those days are gone.
All right, Escobar to lead it off. Eduardo 0 for 3. Looks down low, ball 1. Hal Gibson, the home plate umpire, has done a good job tonight. First time we've seen him. Little flare, and it's going to fall. Little duck snort out there in the left.
Center fielder number 83, Trace Thompson.
Trace Thompson getting his first AB.
He's a good looking player.
3 for 9.
He's a good looking player. He and Andy Wilkins, I believe, both will probably be at Birmingham. Guessing strike, didn't get it. out of play. Trace just 21 years old out of Ladera Ranch, California. 6'3", 195 pounds. Last year at Kannapolis. 24 homers, 87 RBIs.
Nice.
The ball hit hard. Right at, it is a shot off the bat of Trace Thompson.
Third baseman number 66, Ray Olino.
So here's Olmedo. Making his first plate appearance. Lillibridge was 1 for 4 with a run scored. Too much time and is called. Boy, Trace Thompson's got some athletic family. Brother Clay played for Golden State. His brother Michael played for Cleveland. There's a little flare, but it's going to be caught. Nice play. And it's out number 2. For the Cavaliers. His father, Michael, played 14 seasons in the NBA with Portland and San Antonio and the Lakers.
It's pretty good.
Just goes to show you how young players can develop. Trace started off in 2009 with Bristol, only played 25 games. And the first full year was Kannapolis in 2010. Hit 8 homers and drove in 21 in just 58 games. And last year's second full season in 136 games, hit the 24 homers and knocked in 87. So that goes to show the maturity and development, the maturation process.
Well, the Diamondbacks have a guy in their dugout that came up through the Baltimore system, was a line drive hitter, and they mostly went to right center field, and they didn't go out of the ballpark. And then he got a little older, a little bigger, a little stronger, and Don Baylor became a tremendous hitter. Now, Gibson was a home run hitter from the beginning, but Don Baylor was a line drive hitter out of that Baltimore organization, and then he started to crush the ball.
It was thrown away. Yeah, Don, they're going to get him a second. And that'll retire the side. All right. We'll go to the ninth, leading 6-3. the 6,518 in attendance this evening on a beautiful night here in Arizona. Adam Eaton will be the hitter. He's been to the plate one time and struck out. And once again, a reminder, our next game coming your way right here on Comcast Sportsnet will be day after tomorrow, Sunday, against the San Francisco Giants. 3:05 start. There's the strike. That's chopped down, foul. Just tuning in, AJ tonight, 3 for 3, 2 doubles, a 2-run homer that was inside the park. He scored 3 runs and drove in 3. Dan Johnson, 3 for 3 with a walk, RBI single in the second, 2 out, 2-run single in the third. He doubled in the fourth and he walked in the seventh. So the Sox bats, as we talked about in the opening, when Steve and I did our first telecast back on the 9th, the storyline of this ball club was offense, the lack of. And as we speak coming into the night, the storyline is still offense, but this time a lot of.
Enough of it, certainly, and a lot of it at times. Diane Viciedo going from minor league field to minor league field to get his at-bats at 3 home runs yesterday.
He gone. 1 out. Well, Viciedo's going to be fine. And he's got Robin is just going to put him out there.
That's what you have to do. I mean, the guy is still a young player, has yet to have an everyday opportunity. He's going to get it, and he's going to terrorize some pitchers in the American League. There's no doubt about that.
And Adam Dunn, if you're just tuning in, has had a terrific spring. Tied for the Cactus lead in home runs with 4. Hitting over 300 and making good, solid contact. A.J. Pollock been to the plate one time and homered. That was back in the 7th. Morel's having a good spring.
Afraid to throw it in on the hands of the right-hand hitters. I mean, he'll go in there, and if a hitter knows you're going to go in there, it just makes the outside corner that much further away. Take a look at where this one is. That ball moving in on his hands, he can't do anything with it.
You know the worst feeling a hitter can have? As he goes 2 down, is facing a pitcher. The hitter knows that he's going to keep busting him inside on a consistent basis.
He set it up the pitch before and then went back further inside on the last pitch.
Conversely, the best feeling that a hitter can have is when he can go to the plate and not worry about anything inside and look for the ball out over the plate. So if that's the best feeling, pitcher's got to take it away from him by busting him inside. One of the greatest statements I've ever heard about pitching came from the great Sandy Koufax. He said, show me a guy who can't pitch inside and I'll show you a loser. Ryan Roberts been to the plate one time and walked. 6-12-1 for us, 3-6-1 for them. There's that pitch outside. 3-0 the count. Come back and get it. No walks. There's one. And there's two. Nate, tall, lanky, 6'5", 185 pounds, out of Butler, Kentucky. Two out in the payoff pitch. And that's softly hit in the center field.
First baseman number 47, John Griffin.
So that's the first hit given up by Jones. And here's Griffin. He's been to the plate one time and struck out. Takes ball one. Breaking ball. Close, didn't get it. You're just tuning in. Gavin Floyd went 6 innings through 98 pitches. Struggled at first with that control. Only gave up the 2 runs. Threw that one right by him. Hector Santiago came on for 1. Hung a screwball and Pollock hit it out of here. Now Jones working his second inning, giving it just the 1 hit. Close pitch, didn't get it. Good call by Hal Gibson.
That ball just up, low and off the corner.
And he walks him, so that'll bring the tying run to the plate. Strikes out the first 2, then the base hit by Roberts. Now the walk to Griffith.
Second baseman number 1, Cody Ransom.
And here's Cody Ransom. Saw a 4-run lead evaporate against the Dodgers. They scored 5 in the top of the 9th. As the strike is called, Mike Everett.
I'm pretty sure if you blink right now, they're going to be calling a strike. Because I don't think anybody wants to go to extras.
And again, could not check it up. 0-2 the count.
That was a good slider. And he went all the way around.
That's an assertive shake-off. He gone. So he strikes out the side. A good, strong 2 innings by Nate Jones as the Sox win it 6-3. And a workmanlike performance tonight, and a good job by Gavin Floyd after he struggled early with his control.
Yeah, I think that you talked about it. The double play ground ball off the bat of Overbay helped him get his confidence back after he couldn't really hit his spots early in this one, but he got his work in. He went to 6 innings and just enough offense to come away with a big win and get your rest, because we're going to be doing it again on Sunday.
And Nate Jones with a very strong 2 innings, striking out 5, giving up just the 1 hit and a walk. All right. Chicago White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet has been produced by Michelle Godwin, directed by Jim Angio. I'm Jimmy, our associate producer.